Hey guys, I wanted to show you how to make a Google activity from scratch. So this is going to be a little in depth if you want to try and make your own Google assignments. So I always start in PowerPoint. So I'm going to open a blank PowerPoint and I'm going to change the dimensions to 4x3. And then I'm going to delete these text boxes. So from here, you can change the background. I have a couple backgrounds that I've downloaded off of TPT that are free, or a workaround is to just make a shape. This is the rectangle tool. And then when you do the shape fill, you can just pick a random color. I would like this color wheel, bright colors. You don't want it too bright because then it's kind of hard to read some of your text. So we'll do like light purple color, and I always take the outline away. So we have a nice background here. Make sure it lines up perfectly with your slide. And then you can start from here. So I'm going to add a text box for a title. We will do some number matching. So I like center my text. I'll do lowercase and I will pick a font. I really like this AG I'm Extra font. I've been using that a lot lately. And we'll just make a nice big title. I kind of like my titles to take up the whole page. So I just try and get the text as big as I can get it. So for a game like this, you can add some images, you can add some clip art, some more text. So let's insert a table and we'll just do 3x3. So that way, oops, I'm sorry. Actually, we wanted 3x2, delete column. All right, number matching. So we have this table. I'm going to stretch it, make it big. Center it, that line will pop up. And we'll do a white fill so that way you can still see some of this purple. And then a border, I always do all borders. All right, so we have a table here and I'm going to add some numbers in this box. So we'll do 4, 5, and 6. So again, pick a font that you like. Resize it, and we'll just copy and paste these down. We'll do 4, 5, and 6. And a little trick to make sure they're all lined up perfectly is to hold down your Command or Shift key, click on all of them, and go to Arrange, Align, Align Center, and it will line them up perfectly. All right, so this is our background. This is what we're going to use in Google. So I'm going to save this. I'll do number matching. Save. Oops, we'll do number matching. Okay, and if you want to keep going, you can just click duplicate. That way you don't have to redo everything. And then you could do 7, 8, and 9. So we'll do that. That way we have 2 slides and we can work with 2 slides. So once you have your PowerPoint named, make sure it's saved. And you're going to want to click on File, Export, and you want to change PDF to PNG. And you want to make sure it's on Save Every Slide. Export. So it's just telling you that it has saved each slide in your PowerPoint as a picture. So I'm going to shrink that down. I'm going to open a new Google tab. I'm going to go to Slides. And open a new Slides presentation. I always start from a blank template. And you're going to want to resize your Google presentation too. So I always do File, Page Setup, and you want to change this to the 4:3. Apply. And again, delete all of this text. And you can name this the same thing as your presentation. So we'll do number matching 2. And if you double click or right click on your slide, it will give you the option to change the background. And then you want to choose image, browse, and if you click on the folder that was your PowerPoint, double click, and it will pull up your slides. You can click that and open. All right, and then you're going to do the same thing for the next slide. So just do insert, new slide, delete this text, and then you can double click or right click and change the background, and you're going to add your next slide. So you can do this process for however many slides that you have. All right, so once you have your backgrounds in, you're not going to be able to edit this anymore in Google. If you want to make changes to this, you have to go back to PowerPoint and repeat all the steps. So now that we're in Google, we can't mess with any of this. This is here to stay. So number matching. So if you wanted to, you could add a text box, and over here on the side, you could type the number words. Just as an example, again, I like to center it. You can't upload your own fonts to Google, but I like Century Gothic and Love You Like a Sister. I use those a lot. And if you just change the font, make it a little bit bigger so it'll fit in those boxes that we made. And I like to bold it. All right, so we have 4. And if you double click or right click, copy, paste, you'll have your text box in the same font and size that you just did. So we'll do 4, 5. I'll paste that again. And 6. All right. So this is your activity. You can mix them up if you want. I would probably mix them up so they don't go right in order. And if you want to align them too, in Google, you hold Shift. So Shift, click on all of your text boxes, arrange, align, center. It will line them up perfectly for you. All right, so you have your activity made, and now when you assign this to your students, you can use Google Classroom or Canvas. I use Canvas and it works just fine for me. When you upload these, your students will get this presentation. So I always tell them, make sure you are not in presentation mode. You want to be in this edit mode. All right, so now their assignment is to just match the word to the number. So they can click the text box and drag it to the number. And then they could submit it back to you. And it locks their work. So once it's submitted back to you, their answers will be locked on the presentation that they sent back. Now, I know in Canvas, sometimes you can give them multiple attempts. I'm not sure how that works in Google Classroom. But you could always like type a little note and say, hey, I need you to do this again. I'm going to reassign it to you. But once they send it to you, they're not able to go back and redo it unless you have given them certain permissions to do that. But this is how I create my Google Games. You can also add some manipulatives. You can insert some shapes. Like if you wanted to maybe do some counters for this too, you can make a shape, circle. You can change the colors, I believe, yeah, right here, fill color, and the outline color. I always do transparent, no outline. So if you wanted to make some counters too, you can just insert some shapes for them to count with if you wanted to add that to your slide. And you can also insert some audio directions. So I will show you how to record your audio and insert your audio into your PowerPoint, into your Google Slides in another tutorial. I also wanted to share with you that on Teachers Pay Teachers, there's some movable clip art. You do have to make sure you have the correct license to use it. But if you just type in movable clip art, a lot of options come up. There's some freebies out there too. So just make sure you have the correct permissions to use them. There's some manipulatives that you can use. Or if you just want to do a workaround, like here are some free numbers, you could download these and insert those into your Google Slides. Or you could just stick with the basic shapes. So if you wanted to make a bunch of counters, here's what I do. So I would just copy this circle and paste it like 20 times. They're not going to need more than 20 to do this assignment. If you wanted to add the counting piece, you could go back in your PowerPoint and add another column. All right, so once you have a bunch of circles pasted, I select them all, arrange, align, center, and then you go back to arrange, align, middle. And now it looks like there's just one. So now it looks like there's just a perfect little pile of counters that you can drag and drop from. See how it kind of does that? It looks like it's unlimited. So just make sure that you make enough copies for however many numbers that you have. Or if you're doing letters, make sure you make enough copies. Like I made a name activity, so I copied like 10 of each lowercase letter just in case they had X amount of letters in their name. But I hope this was helpful with making some Google activities. And if you have any questions, you can message me on Instagram at Ashley's Golden Apples, or you can leave a comment below.